Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be a video that I'm gonna get a ton of dislikes from the racists on, and the people that seem to think that all lives matter means that when people say Black Lives Matter, they think that we don't know all lives matter, but Black matters are stupid. I'm not gonna have that argument. I'll do that in a video later. Hi. What I want to talk about today is defund the police and what it actually means, which is not what most people think, and it doesn't mean getting rid of cops in general. It just means not giving them the insane budget that they have to do the stupid stuff that they do. Alright, so I'm just going to cover 4 basic tenets that I think are important, and then we'll talk about the Senate and the House and how I don't think it's going to make it past Donald Trump. Alright, so the first tenet of defund the police and police reform that I think we absolutely need, and a lot of people actually happen to agree, that I've been discussing with happen to agree, the first thing we need to do is we need to stop giving military surplus weapons, which means armored vehicles. It means military grade weapons. I mean, the things that they're launching with tear gas, those are grenade launchers. They're using grenade launchers on the protesters right now, so think about that. And I know, but they're not. 90% of them are peaceful. Grenade launchers, armored vehicles with your tanks. I mean, those are your basics. They don't need them. We do not need a militarized police. That is a thing from the 90s that Obama worked on getting rid of, that Trump bought back, that is allowing our military to wage literal war on its own citizens. Is our police force at war with us? Did they declare war and no one told the citizens of the United States, hey, your police force is going to wage war on you. They're going to use weapons that are used overseas against enemy combatants, and they're not going to follow the Geneva Convention, which means not attacking aid stations? Did I miss that memo? Like, was that memo somewhere where I just wasn't paying enough attention? Or is it like a Tuesday that they just decided that American citizens were enemy combatants that don't deserve basic human rights? No? Okay, good. Then stop taking a massive amount of money and putting it into militarizing our police. Alright, tenet number 2. Instead of sending cops out to domestic violence, to homeless encampments, and places where they tend to make things worse and don't understand basic de-escalation tactics, send trained social workers who also have policing skills, meaning that they are trained in both. So kind of like we have animal control, because I don't want the cops to chase a grizzly bear down the road. I also don't want cops dealing with homeless people and mentally ill patients and domestic violence, because I believe it was one of the survey that I read, and don't quote me on this, in the comments down below I'll confirm it, but I think it's like 80% of domestic violence people will not, absolutely will not call the cops, because the cops will make it worse. So if they're gonna make it worse and you can't even rely on them when they show up, maybe you need someone who's trained more than that. I'm just saying. Alright. Tenet number 3. This is where people are going to get really mad. Police accountability. Meaning that they are not just accountable to internal affairs. They are not just accountable to a police review board. No. I want a mix. I want police department and civilians. Meaning that they don't want that thin blue line. It is a mix that investigates all complaints. Because if you look at these cases, you see a pattern of misconduct. You see a pattern of other cops covering up said misconduct. So if you cannot trust the cops for accountability, they need to start answering to someone else. And this means accountability not just on a state level, but on a federal level. So when a cop gets fired for police brutality, they can't just pack up their stuff and move to a different state. They can never work in a police department again. They can't. It's that simple. An accountability board that is not just state, but federal, that investigates these things. Because again, cops cannot be trusted to investigate themselves. All right, tenet number 4, more training. Not just a couple of weeks in the police academy. I mean an actual series of trainings that don't just stop when you become a cop. You need training in de-escalation. You need some firearms training, but not as much as you get. You get more firearms training than you do anything else. Specialized training for those who want to go into things like domestic violence and things like that. That way you have specialized officers that not only have the police training, but maybe a social services degree, because social service workers have to have more training than cops do. So maybe combine those two together into some sort of training and not give every cop that ability, because it ain't working. And like I said, constant and repeated renewals of said training that last more than 6 weeks. These are just some basics. I have a list that goes even longer. Actually, we're going to do tenet number 5. Taking the money that we use. 5. I forgot the 5th one. Taking the money that we use to defund the militarized section that I said in the first part. Because, again, they're not waging war on us. We are not enemy combatants. Taking that money and then, I don't know, maybe investing that in education. Programs to help people get jobs. Programs to help the homeless get off the street. Drug rehabs that are actually accredited instead of the rehab centers that we have, so that we can get drug addicts clean. That would be a good one. And domestic abuse centers, resources for people to leave their partners instead of they got nowhere to go. I mean, just some basic, and then some education. We defund schools and everything else, but keep pumping money into that. Maybe take some of that money, move it over. Maybe just a little bit. Alright, guys, I have more. I will probably come out with a part 2 later, but those are my 5 that started off with the 4. I can still rattle off more, but I don't want this to be too horribly long, because people tend to get offended when you get too horribly long and you ramble. So I will see y'all later.